Live from downtown Lansing, you're listening to the Spartan Beat with your hosts, Corey Robinson and Justin Thin.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Spartan Beat. I'm Justin Thin. I'm here with my co-host Corey Robinson. We write for 27 Sports Michigan State site, and today we have a special visitor, one of Michigan State's more recent commits, and that is Dallas, Texas kicker Jack Stone. Jack, thanks for joining us. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess we'll jump right into it and ask the basic question that I'm sure you're expecting. And why did you commit to Michigan State? What led you to make that decision? Talk to us a little bit about that.
It was honestly probably the most important part of it to me was the coaching staff and who I was going to be playing for. And Coach Els and Coach Spencer and Coach Gibson and Coach Tucker especially, they're guys I look up to, and I really value what they value. And I mean, me and Coach Spencer are both kickers, so having him be one of my coaches is going to be really good. So that's one of the main reasons I committed. So.
Definitely. So you were talking about the coaches. What was their reaction when you told them, hey, I'm ready to be a Spartan? And what coach was there, I guess, when you did it, or were they all there?
Yeah, so I was kind of on a tour with Coach Els and all the special teams coaches all morning, and then we went over to the football offices after we did like a photo shoot and all that kind of stuff. And they said, now you're going to talk to Coach Tucker. And so I was kind of looking forward to that moment. And so Coach Tucker called me into his office. I went in there and talked to him with my parents for about like 20 minutes. And then he kind of said, well, man, we'd love to have you here. And then I kind of knew because, I told Coach Els and Coach Spencer that I wanted to commit. So they were like, okay, he's going to say this. And then you're going to know when, like, you're going to say whatever you want to say to commit. And so when he said that, when he said, we'd love to have you here, I just told him, like, I mean, Coach, this place I want to go. There's no place I'd rather be, and I want to be a Spartan. And when I said that, his face just lit up, and it was really cool. Just knowing that, like, my commitment put an actual, like, smile on his face is really cool to be there. And he's a great guy. And then when I walked right out the door after that, Coach Tuck said, we got a new Spartan. And the whole coaching staff came out of their offices and just started clapping and cheering. And it was a really cool moment.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Those are the kind of insights that you don't really get in articles and stuff. So it's great to hear you talk about that. So then you did a good job of taking us through that, the moment where you committed and the tour before that. But can you run through and basically summarize like the whole weekend? Because I know fans are always really interested to hear like what an official visit is like, what kind of the itinerary is. So can you just like run through like I guess Friday through Sunday, just like what that's like to be a recruit on an official visit?
He was an unofficial, but he was here 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh, so gotcha.
Yeah. Mine was actually an unofficial visit. They said I'll probably have my official during the season, but they said I did pretty much everything that an official visit would do. So I guess we got to the facility, and then we kind of had a short introduction. We watched a video, and then they took us to academics. So we met with the academic counselor and just went over like what majors there were and all that kind of stuff. And then we went upstairs and we talked to one of the guys there that runs one of their programs called Spartan Dog for Life, I think is what it was called. And he kind of just walks us through what it means to actually be a Spartan dog. So he kind of just explained that and talks through like how it's not just a 4-year decision, it's a 40-year decision. And then he showed us like this, I guess, like map of like all the connections that Michigan State has. And it just like had a bunch of different companies and all that sort of stuff. So it's really cool to see that. And then after that, we went did a little photo shoot, and then right after the photo shoot, we came back, and that's when I talked to Coach Tucker. So.
That's sweet. Actually, I want to follow up real quick on the photo shoot because I know that's one of the things that like fans are always wondering, like the behind the scenes of that. So, do they like lay out every single possible uniform combo and tell you to pick? What does that exactly entail?
Yeah, so I think it depends on the position coach. But Coach Spencer had texted me the day before, and he and I kind of both wanted to do the neon uniforms. And so he said he'd get me the neon uniforms for my photo shoot. I think the other guys just had the classic jerseys. But then when I got there, he was like, well, I said neons, and then I told them just to get you everything. So they had 3 different pairs of pants, and then they had their 3 different jerseys. We ended up just going with the neon jersey and then the all green pants, which I think looks pretty good. But yeah, it was good. He said I could have chosen any of them, but we both kind of had decided we wanted to do the neons just because it's something a little different.
Definitely. Yeah. I think the green pants with the neon are better than the neon pants myself too.
Oh yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that.
they gotta get rid of the neon pants part. But so what's it been like getting to know all of the other commits? I know you guys have like a Snapchat group chat and all of that. So what's that been like? And then also just to see the class continue to grow and you kind of kick-started another wave after you committed.
Yeah, it's really cool. As soon as I committed, like 2 minutes after, they added me to their group chat and on Snapchat. And every single guy in there was saying like, congrats, man, we're so excited to have you. And just right off the bat, it was such a feeling of like that I was being welcomed by these guys, and just to know that they want me there just as much as I want to be there. And then on the flip side, when Katin committed, I got to see him added to our group chat, and then I got to be the one who was welcoming him in with open arms, just like those guys did for me. And it's just a really cool environment. Like, I haven't met any of those guys in real life yet, but just talking with them like the past week, I feel like I already know them pretty well. So
yeah, definitely. And I know they're the Katin one that was pretty big.
For sure.
You guys got all excited with that one, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
So
definitely.
I guess I had one more question on the visit too. Did they show you pictures of the new facilities that they're getting ready to break ground on here shortly, I think, or did you not get to see those yet?
Yeah, so they we kind of walked through their like trophy room, and they had some like poster boards with the new, I guess, renderings or whatever of the new remodeled area, what it's going to look like. So he kind of pointed those out to me, and we kind of took a look at them, but it looks pretty cool. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's mostly the academic side of the football facility, because I don't think I don't want to say for sure, but I think it's mostly academic that's getting remodeled. But that's also part of the meeting rooms, and then just like individual tutor rooms, if I'm not mistaken. But
I believe the plan is the building that currently exists is going to get remodeled into an academic wing, and then they're building an entire new section to the building for all the football activities, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, I think like a dining hall too or something.
Yeah.
Like a big feature.
Yeah, so sure. Then one other thing we wanted to ask you about, like we do with all our guests, is even getting to know you beyond, like as a football recruit. Take us through, I guess, what you like to do for fun, what artists you like to listen to, what you watch on Netflix. Just go ahead and tell us a little bit about you and your free time.
Yeah, so, I love doing, like what any teenager guy does in high school, just hanging out with his friends, fishing, hunting, all that kind of stuff. In my free time, I'll either be kicking, or I'll be hanging out with my friends. But I guess for artists that I like to listen to, it's got to be Willie Jones. He's kind of a newer country artist. He's pretty good. I like his music. And then for something that I watch on Netflix or stuff like that, it's probably going to be The Flash. It's a pretty good show.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know some friends that watch The Flash and some of the CW shows that they really talk highly about. Corey, do you have anything else for Jack?
No, I think I've got it pretty much wrapped up with him. We got quite a bit of info from him.
Definitely. And one thing I wanted to point out, I just noticed this when I pulled up Jack's profile, but 24/7 Sports has rated him the 7th best kicker in the nation. So Michigan State fans, that's a top 10 kicker that Michigan State has landed. So congrats on that ranking, Jack, and thanks a lot for sparing us some time this evening.
Yeah, for sure. Happy to be here. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll be right back after the break to talk some recruiting.
Call it a sense of purpose, a higher calling, essential to our children's future. We call it our passion at Dean Transportation. We are a family, hardworking folks who for more than 60 years have connected children to learning, schools to our communities, and you to a better career, pioneering the best in health and safety standards because it's simply what we do, because safe student transportation has always been essential. Dean is now hiring community-focused individuals for immediate school bus driver, attendant, and mechanic positions for local schools throughout mid-Michigan. To learn more, visit jobs@dean.com/Lansing. Experienced applicants will receive up to a $750 sign-on bonus. For individuals with no prior experience, Dean will pay you to train. Positions may also allow you to start and stop work from local parking locations or your home throughout mid-Michigan. If you're looking to make the community a better place, we'll put you in the driver's seat. Join the Dean Transportation family today at jobs@dean.com/Lansing.
Thinking of a new air conditioning unit for your home? Hi, Peggy Doty with Doty Mechanical. A new Carrier high-efficiency AC unit will lower your energy usage and increase your home comfort. Current Carrier Cool Cash offers and available utility rebates mean your savings have never been better.
Call Doty Mechanical today at 327-7777 or visit us at dotymechanical.com for your free estimate. For heating and cooling, the names to know, Doty Mechanical and Carrier, turn to the experts.
Boyne Golf presents Michigan's Magnificent 10. 10 extraordinary courses set among 3 incredible resorts with plenty of wide open spaces where the extra long days let you play and play and play. And when you're done, a variety of amenities and charming towns await. The golf's so varied, the accommodations so welcoming, each visit's a new experience. So visit BoyneGolf.com to plan your time here. That's BoyneGolf.com.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Taylor. Former Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld has died. His family says the man who served in that role under 2 presidents died at the age of 88 in New Mexico. His family called him an American statesman. Rumsfeld served in both the Gerald Ford and George W. Bush administrations. Bill Cosby is out of prison. Multiple reports say he walked out of a Pennsylvania state prison a free man today after his sexual assault conviction was overturned. The 83-year-old Cosby has served more than 2 years of a 3 to 10-year sentence for the 2004 assault of Andrea Constand. The White House says full U.S. troop withdrawal from Afghanistan is on track to be completed by September.
Nothing has changed on our timeline or objective.
President Biden set a goal to fully remove troops by the 20th anniversary of the September 11th attacks, but Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters the U.S. will still have a diplomatic presence on the ground even after September. Former President Trump is in Texas meeting with local officials about the illegal immigration border surge. Trump said Democrats are playing games and blaming Republicans for the surge of immigrants. He and Governor Greg Abbott took part in a border security briefing in the Rio Grande Valley. The two are also expected to visit the unfinished border wall. Meanwhile, the former president promised to make an endorsement in the Republican primary for former Attorney General soon. Trump offered praise to incumbent AG Ken Paxton for the work he's done while in office, while also wishing him good luck.
How many people are running against you, Ken? 2. 2? That's all?
That's it.
Well, that's not bad for you.
No.
Land Commissioner George P. Bush and former Supreme Court Justice Eva Guzman are challenging Paxton in the primary. Bush is a Trump ally who claimed to have spoken with the ex-president about the future of Texas last month. ExxonMobil is announcing the sale of its rubber business to chemical company Celanese. The North Texas-based energy giant announced the over $1 billion transaction, saying the plan is to focus more on materials made up of a chemical compound of hydrogen and carbon. The sale is expected to close later this year. You're listening to the latest on NBC News Radio.
The Spartan Beat.
I have never eaten a booger in my entire life.
Spotlight Radio Network.
All right, guys, so now we will dive into some of the recruiting updates here in the past few weeks. We will start with one of the biggest, maybe of the Mel Tucker era so far, and that is St. John Bosco quarterback Katin Houser, the Elite 11 finalist that is currently performing out there in Manhattan Beach, California. That is going on from Wednesday until Saturday. This is a commitment that we've known was going to happen, I want to say, since Saturday of his official visit, maybe Sunday. But it was a lot of fluidity on the timeline, and at the same time, we were not allowed to talk about it or hint about it because our guys on the West Coast, Greg Biggins and Blair Angulo, were in constant communication with the family, and for them to continue to be able to get all of the real-time updates, they promised to respect the family's privacy until they told Boise State. So as a result, we had to kind of wait it out until Boise was told, and then whatever morning it was, early in the day, Blair and Greg and those guys put their CVs in and let us know, and we did as well. Then the rest of the timeline saw Katin decommit from Boise State, wait a couple days so that he didn't end up committing to Michigan State on the same day and kind of have that overtake his Boise State appreciation tweet, because he operated in a very respectful manner the whole time. So then a few days later, he committed to Michigan State. And so Katin is Michigan State's highest ranked commit right now. And this is before he has a chance to go ahead and perform at the Elite 11 this week. And kind of a coincidence is last year Michigan State's highest ranked commit from St. John's Bosco as well was Ma'a Nauteote. So California is treating Mel Tucker pretty well. I believe Ma ended up transferring to Bishop Gorman, but didn't end up playing his senior season there until much, much later. But at the time that he committed, the last school that he had played for was St. John Bosco. And yeah, so essentially Michigan State has the quarterback of the future. And Corey, I guess I'll let you talk about him now and just kind of lay out how huge of a commitment this was for Michigan State.
Yeah, this was a really big one. I think if you looked at the quarterback boards when we talked about who was out there and available, there's A.J. Duffy, who they went after hard, obviously. And then I think after he decided to go to Florida State, that next group became Houser, Marchiol, Richardson. Below that was Justin Martin, who started out higher, and then on the non-existent pile was Denegal, who went to Michigan, where he hadn't been an option for a very long time for a lot of places besides them. But to get him added, I mean, that's huge because, like you said, he's from the St. John's Bosco, which is probably a top 5 program or right there in the entire country. Not just California, so you're constantly going to have that connection to that program with him and, like you said, Nauteote. As far as the quarterback and where his ranking was at, he missed his sophomore season with an elbow injury, or at least most of it, so he kind of didn't have his name out there. And then he came in his junior year, which was pushed back to the spring because of the pandemic. So a lot of like the quarterbacks that played in the fall, they kind of got their ranking bump, and he had to sit there and be patient without the sophomore film really, and not the fall film. So then you saw him come out and kind of take the class by storm, where you see him growing each week, where he puts up big numbers despite sharing split reps with another highly ranked quarterback in the next class. Yeah. So then you see him go to the camps, and he's won the MVP at the Steve Clarkson camp, which, I mean, that had probably more talent at that camp in 22, 23, 24 than even this Elite 11 finals that he's at right now had. He walked away with the MVP there. Then he went to the Elite 11 regional right after that, won the MVP at that camp. So now he's heading into this one hot. So he's a quarterback that his stock is rising, and that's exactly what you want. You don't want a quarterback that maybe is peaking in their sophomore year, freshman year, like that he was really good, and then he just never really progressed much beyond that. Where this is a stock on the rise guy. If he does what I imagine he'll do at the Elite 11 finals, you're going to watch him go up the rankings a little bit more whenever they put him out next. Like you mentioned on the board earlier, a lot of his rankings have been recent. He's been climbing, but that was all due to the timing of all of his stuff. So it could be possible that we see him rise even more quickly, or whether they wait until the next eval. But either way, he's a guy that's going to keep climbing up the quarterback rankings list, and I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of it he's in that top 10, top 15 range, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, so I believe Houser got a bump up after he attended the Steve Clarkson QB retreat and the Elite 11 regional, but at the same time, he doesn't have that much further to go before he's a composite 4-star. I believe it's around 30-ish or 40-ish spots overall. He's a .8884, and anyone that's a .8901 or higher gets a composite 4-star. So basically you just have to be above .8900. So he doesn't have a long way to go, and so 24/7 already has him as the 16th best quarterback. So if he gets bumped into that top 15, that might get him up to that composite 4-star range, maybe 14th. But if not, if 24/7 feels like they've done enough for him for stock recently with the update a couple weeks ago, then at the same time he's a 3-star by rival. So if those guys decide to give him a bump to the 4-star status that 24/7 and ESPN have him at, that also might be able to get the job done on the composite. So it's looking very close that he could be a composite 4-star soon, even without a necessarily huge bump. And then similarly, transitioning to the next recruit I wanted to talk about, and that is somebody that's ranked 0.8900. So literally just needs a bump of .0001, and he'll be a composite 4-star, and that is Ohio offensive tackle Ryan Baer. Ryan is expected to commit this month, as you heard from his dad, who you talk to frequently. We put crystal balls in for Ryan this morning, on Wednesday this morning. And Corey, you want to talk a little bit about Ryan and his recruitment?
Yeah, he's a guy that's been a plan A since the beginning for Michigan State, 6'7", 330 out of Ohio. He's done a great job this offseason. Transition his body to where now he's like a for sure. You slot him at right tackle because he's kind of trimmed up the 6'7", 330-pound frame. So you can project him as a right tackle at Michigan State easily now. But like I said, a top target since day one, and a guy that Chris Kapilovich and Jack Harris really wanted in this class and identified early. And were able, for a while there in June, he was going to take a unofficial visit for multiple days to Michigan State, but they were able to turn that into an official, and I think just the benefits of that help so much because they were able to feed him a lot. Like they've talked about how the catered meal, the steak that was at Coach Tucker's house was like the best steak they've ever had in their life. And but the big thing on that visit is it gave him time to talk to everybody on the staff. The tutors was huge for him and his parents because they, obviously you need to take care of it there. Amber Reinstein, the dietitian, she won them over big time with just showing them how she would take care of him with the food and stuff, and just the way that she cares for all of her players. Like she's called the team mom, and she knocked it out of the park. Lisa Benchain, she was one that they mentioned being a big factor, and they had said at the time like that's what kind of separated Michigan State from the others, was that the others, that everybody tries to sell the family thing and they do a fine job of it or whatever, but at Michigan State it was different. They didn't feel like, you know, the other ones put it on that type of level with the family aspects of it and how much they care for the guys off the field. And then you know, so he got there after the Michigan State official. I think he was probably leaning slightly to Michigan State. Kentucky was maybe number 2. He's pretty tight-lipped, but I think that's kind of my take that I got from it, is going to be one of those two. And then last night he had a Zoom call, him and his family, with Coach Cap and Coach Tucker, and that I heard went really well. And then I kind of felt comfortable after that, that was the final thing, the final nudge they needed to maybe know that Michigan State's the spot for them.
Yeah, definitely. I know we didn't want to go ahead and put the crystal ball in too soon or anything like that, because their decision process was always ongoing. They had never come to a singular conclusion. And yeah, like you were saying, that call last night seems like a good indicator of now it being the time to finally put something in, as opposed to before that. We obviously, the gut feeling was always there for Michigan State being the choice, but it's good to get some more clarity, I guess, as it gets closer and more things happen. So yeah, I guess now moving on to another guy that we crystal balled here this past week, and that's Alex VanSumeren from Essexville Garber, in-state 4-star kid. He's a kid that has like crazy explosiveness for his size. And kid obviously has Clemson offers and all the big schools you can think of. And he's a kid that took 4 official visits this past month, and that was to Michigan State, Penn State, Northwestern, Texas A&M. And Clemson he would have taken a visit to, but the Dabo Swinney's policy is something like, if you don't like Clemson enough to come on your own dime in the summer, then you can come in the fall when we'll host you, or something where they don't host official visitors until the season starts. So he's gonna have to decide whether or not he wants to wait until the fall for a Clemson visit or decide sooner than that. We're kind of hearing that it'll probably be sooner than that. And I guess I'll let you talk about the crystal ball rationale there, Corey, but that kind of basically sets the table of what he's kind of going to have to decide between and what the players are looking like.
Yeah, Michigan State, they did the best job, in my opinion, of making him feel like a priority. You had Tucker, the head coach, made him a top priority. The entire defensive staff made him a priority. He really likes that he knows Ron Burton's going to be there at Michigan State. The strength coaches, him and his brother Ben, who's here as a linebacker, like that part of the gym is huge to those guys. So he's really seen what Novak and Reinstein are teaming up along with the rest of their team, and he can see himself excelling with that. And then, obviously, it doesn't hurt to stay close to home with your family. They're a tight-knit family. You got your brother here. But Michigan State won the recruitment because they were the best spot for Alex. If that turned out to be the case, it wasn't going to be because his brother's here. That was just another positive development for them to have here. But, yeah, I think, to me, he's like the perfect defensive tackle because his motor's 100 miles per hour all the time, and sometimes with those big guys you have to question how bad they want it, and there's literally zero question with him. So if they could get him being the top defensive target on their board, that's also another huge recruiting win because you always want to get your top guy like that.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of another top guy, and that is the other side of the defensive line, and that is a defensive end in Chase Carter. He's from Minnehaha Academy, same high school as Terry Lockett. And Chase just announced here before we started recording this episode that his top 2 of Iowa and Michigan State. We know that was exactly what was expected. Michigan State was his first visit of June, and Iowa was his most recent. I know both me and you and Alan, we've been talking like all of June of how we were waiting to put our crystal balls in. We were all tempted to do it, but we ended up just waiting for Iowa in case they kind of stole him at the end, because Michigan State was leading up to the visit. From what we heard, Iowa did as good of a job as they could do, but I don't think they totally, I guess, flipped the tide of what the momentum was when he went into the visit. Yeah, so I guess that's really our rationale there. I'll let you talk more about it if there's anything you want to add, but so that's kind of why that pick was placed.
Yeah, I think definitely echo what you say. Like, we probably could have put that crystal ball in sooner, but I don't like to kind of dismiss a big official visit, which Iowa was. Like, it was always Michigan State and Iowa, in my opinion, for months and months. So, like, I didn't want to dismiss that one. I see, like, a lot of people, maybe at other teams that they cover, they might be like, oh, he had a really good official here, but then they ignore the fact that his leader or their second place team or whatever also is about to host them, and I think it's just dangerous to put that in there. So we were probably overly cautious with him with that, but I definitely think he's got a decision with his family on when to make that decision, but I would expect it sometime here in July would be my best guess. And then, like I said, I don't see myself coming off of the Michigan State pick for him, and defensive end is a huge need, and he's a freak athlete. Once he gets here, it'll be the first time he really dedicates himself just to football, because he's also a good basketball player with D1 offers there too. So you're going to watch his body change and just everything like that. So high ceiling kid.
Yeah, I believe he has some pretty good D1 basketball offers, including the Florida Gators and some other schools of that stature. So that kind of knocks out the three crystal balls that we placed here in recent weeks. And obviously the new commitment in Katin Houser. So then the last thing we wanted to touch on was the brand new commitment, the brand new official visit development just before the weekend. And that was, I believe, Thursday or Friday, you reported that Katron Allen, or as he likes to call himself, Fat Man Allen, decided that he was going to use his last official of June on Michigan State. So he was here in town this weekend, Friday through Sunday. He's a top 150 prospect. Has a crystal ball to Alabama, which I don't think is recent or updated, but shows he has an offer from them, and at one point had a lot of interest from them. Georgia, he took an official visit to. And then obviously the Michigan State official visit. There was a Penn State official visit. Florida, I believe, also had an official visit from him. So it is one of those in the thick of it SEC battles. And so I guess one of the things to note are that Florida picked up some crystal balls for a running back named Gibbs. So that would be something to watch for inside of this recruitment. And then Penn State seems to be trending for Nicholas Singleton, I believe, Reading, Pennsylvania running back. And also in on some other guys. So we'll see what happens across the landscape there in these running back dominoes. But Corey, what do you want to let people know about Katron Allen?
Yeah, he's a big-time running back. Michigan State's been on him for a while, so it wasn't like it was new development in the recruitment. It was just kind of they've been trying to get him up for a visit. And now that they got him that visit, he got to really see what Michigan State has to sell, and from all reports we've gotten, he absolutely loved it. And I think there's a lot of rumors out there that it's probably going to be most likely come down to Penn State and Michigan State for his commitment. So, running back's a luxury, but that's a grand slam if you can get a guy like that. So you can never turn down a talent like that at the running back position. And I think, he's a great fit for what Michigan State wants to do too, where he's a good blend of speed and power. When your nickname's Fat Man, you can probably figure out that he's able to run some people over.
Yeah, definitely. And he was posting Le'Veon Bell highlights on his Instagram story the entire weekend. And he was, that's kind of his favorite running back. And he kept noticing that about Michigan State is Le'Veon's presence, and also how Le'Veon was like a workhorse type, and he was like the guy of the backfield. And like we were talking today, and how you mentioned that you heard that that's kind of something that he's interested in, like being the guy that you can put the workload on his back, and kind of being the guy that can power you to some wins. So he should have that opportunity at Michigan State to kind of lead the stable of backs once this current fleet of running back talent over there leaves here pretty soon. But yeah, he has, just looking at his rating, he's he's ranked 127th on the composite, and ranked the 10th best running back in the nation, and he's the 16th best player in Florida, which is a huge accomplishment in its own right with the Florida talent, and obviously the offer sheet speaks for itself. So we will see what happens there with Katron Allen. But yeah, just a reminder, make sure you go ahead and take advantage of the multiple promotions that we put out occasionally for our 24/7 VIP subscription. Sign up right now too. You don't want to miss any of the recruiting developments that are going to be happening in July. And just make sure that if you're interested in our work, go ahead and check us out there, because that's where we post all the updates. And that was Corey. I'm Justin, and thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Spartan Beat.